Earlier, we learned what an ecosystem is, and that an ecosystem has a community, populations, and habitats. In this presentation, we will learn about the populations and what each population eats. Living organisms can be classified as either a producer, a consumer, or a decomposer. A producer is a living thing such as a plant that can make its own food. This mighty oak tree is a producer that produces its own food. A consumer is a living thing that cannot make its own food and must eat other things to survive. A lion is a consumer. He eats other animals to survive. A decomposer is a living thing that feeds on the waste and remains of plants and animals. A mushroom is an example of a decomposer. In this picture, you will see that the mushrooms are living on the decomposing log. Consumers are also classified into three categories. One is a herbivore. A herbivore is an animal that eats only plants. A giraffe is a herbivore. They do not eat meat. A carnivore is an animal that eats only other animals. A tiger is an example of a carnivore. He eats only meat, no plants. An omnivore is an animal that eats both plants and animals. A bear is an omnivore. You are also an omnivore because you and the bear both eat plants and animals. Food comes from the sun. Most living things get the energy from sunlight. Green plants and algae use the energy of sunlight and change it to produce food through photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process plants use to take the energy from sunlight and use it to convert carbon dioxide and water into sugars and oxygen. These sugars are food for the plants and provide the necessary energy for them to grow and be healthy. What materials do plants need to make sugar? Plants need carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight to create sugars through photosynthesis. What would happen if a plant did not have the needed water, carbon dioxide, and sunlight? It would not be able to make sugars by photosynthesis, therefore the plant would die. Producers and consumers. Living things that make their own food are called producers. Plants, no matter how big or how small, are producers. They use the sunlight through photosynthesis to make their own food. Some animals get their energy they need to survive by eating plants. Some animals eat both plants and other animals to survive. These animals are all called consumers because they are taking in food through their mouth. Consumers cannot make their own food, so they must eat other living things. What kind of living things get their energy directly from the sun? Producers or plants. They get their energy directly from the sun so that they can produce their own food. What is sunlight? Why is sunlight important to animals that eat other animals? Why is sunlight important to animals that eat other animals? Plants need sunlight to live and grow. Without plants, animals that eat plants would die. Then animals that eat other animals would die also. What is a producer? Give me two examples of a producer. A producer is a living thing that makes its own food. Examples include grass, flowers, algae, moss, and cacti. What is a consumer? Think of two examples. A consumer is a living thing that gets its energy by eating producers or other consumers. Examples are any animal. All animals will either eat plants or plants and animals, or just animals. In review, there are three types of consumers. You have your herbivores, animals that eat only plants. Examples are giraffes and rabbits. Carnivores, animals that eat only other animals. Examples, cougars and lions. Omnivores, animals that eat both plants and animals. They eat producers and consumers. Examples, bears, hyenas, and humans. Name the three kinds of consumers. Give two examples for each consumer. Herbivore, examples could be deer and horse. Carnivore, examples could be panther and lion. Omnivore, examples could be bear and humans.